This week, in the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, we're putting together some of the meals that I love to have on my monthly calendar. And these are repeat types of recipes that you can fix over and over again. And some of them are even recipes that you can have some today and save some for another day. Let's get to it. When I purchase large roast, I like to prepare it all at one time. And then that way I can slice off of the roast and make smaller dinners out of it. Now this particular roast is a 3-pounder and there's just the two of us eating off of it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go ahead and cook it. I'm actually going to slow cook it in the crock pot, and then I'll be able to take some off, just make some nice slices for tonight, and then we'll have the rest to put away and divide and put into the freezer. Pot roast need lots, I mean lots of seasoning, and especially one that is this large. So I'm going to actually stab some holes in it, and then I'm going to cut the fat calf and just take some scissors and clip that fat calf so that fat will melt. And in this particular crock pot, I can actually sear it. So I'll sear that fat calf, break it down, and start to add all of the good seasonings that this is going to need in order to cook well. Having a friend who works at a company that makes seasonings is always a delight. And she's given me some seasonings that I'm going to be using tonight. Now, of course, these are not seasonings that you can buy off the shelf, but they are combinations of seasonings that I know will be good. So I'll make note of what I have just so when you get ready to go to the grocery store, you know what to look for, or it may already be in your pantry. I'm going to use this crock pot, and this is the Instapot crock pot. The nice thing about it is that you can sear, you can saute, you can slow cook, of course, because it's a crock pot. You can steam, and of course it has warm setting. So there are a lot of things that you can do right here in this pot. One pot for everything we need. So we're going to put together this pork roast that I'm going to cook down nice and tender, and then I'm going to add some barbecue sauce, and we're going to have some pulled pork sandwiches. Well, family, it got late, so because of that, I just made a few slices, put some barbecue sauce in the pan, and ran it under the broiler and just broiled some nice crispy little pieces that I could add to a bun or just have on a plate. In my pantry, I had a whole chicken. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to roast it, and I'm going to roast enough so that I'm going to have some for today and some for another day, but it will already be roasted. And in addition to that, I think I'm going to throw in, since the oven's on, I'm going to throw in some veggies, and I've got them, we'll get them seasoned up. So I divided the chicken into quarters. And the neck and those parts, we'll use those to make broth later. But anyway, we've got all of these here in our pan, and we're going to get that seasoned up in addition to those veggies. All right, so I'm going to put in some carrots, some potatoes, and that will give me enough for tonight, and may even have some vegetables left over for another night. So let's take a look at that. I've got onions cut into quarters, each little half. I divide it in half and then cut them into quarters, and they may break up, but if they do, that's okay. So we got our onions, and we like onions, so I'm okay with having quite a few. So that's one entire onion that we've added to the pan. I have some red potatoes that we're going to bring out. Let's switch these out. These are red potatoes. I got some carrots. It's going to be a delicious meal. So everything's here, and I'm going to cut my red potatoes, I think, into quarters, because I want to make sure that when the chicken's ready, that the potatoes are ready also. So I'm going to cut them into quarters and just place them into the pan. I'm not going to cover this pan. It's going to cook open. Sometimes if I'm going to cook roasted chicken for dinner, sometimes I'll do it early enough and I'll just cover it up. And but today we're going to cook it open because I want it to get nice and brown, and I want it to be pretty. And whatever vegetables are left over, we will use them during the week. Remember, they were in the pantry, and you. Now, while we're cutting up those vegetables, let me just say that Ms Denise and I are cooking up these easy dinners for spring, and we're going to do at least 3. And so the fun thing about it is, tonight, with this particular roast chicken, I thought about her. And I thought about her in particular with the vegetables, because she had prepared a roasted chicken as well, and cooked what she thought was going to be a lot of vegetables. But guess what? In the end, she had to, the second night, cook more vegetables because they were so good. They ate them all up. So we're going to try to make sure that we have enough vegetables the first time, so we'll have some left over for another night. To the pan, we'll get it all good and seasoned up, because we want everything in this pan to be good. And I was talking with a friend today, in fact, and we were talking about the fact that as we're trying to eat healthy, and we're always trying to eat healthy, but there's just something about spring that makes you think you need to all of a sudden start to cook more healthy. And so what we're going to do is that I'm going to get the house seasoning out. I'm going to get a few other things out. And I've got my no salt. I've got the house seasoning. So we're going to get everything nice and sprinkled. And I actually have a rotisserie mix that I'm going to place on our chicken and vegetables. We want our potatoes, onions, everything we want well seasoned. Okay, so that took care of that. I'm going to add just a little bit of house seasoning, which is onion powder, garlic powder, pepper. I'm going to get those ready. Now, let me get that rotisserie chicken seasoning. Okay, I've got my rotisserie seasoning, and I'm going to add some of that. And of course, it's got a little extra paprika, a little curry, a variety of flavors, to be honest with you. It smells so good when you open that jar. You are standing at Costco's smelling the chicken. So I'm going to rub this chicken. I'm going to actually flip it over so we can add some on the back. And as we do that, some of those vegetables are going to fall down underneath, and that's fine. That'll be a little cushion, and all that chicken broth is going to go down and onto those vegetables. Let's get those underneath. It's okay. So I'm flipping the chicken over and rinse my hands real quick. Okay, let's sprinkle just a little more. Okay. Now, chicken's going to be good. I'm going to add some oil to it. You can use oil or you can use butter. I'm using oil today. And I'm using olive oil. I'm just going to add a little bit to it. It's going to help to hold the seasonings on the chicken, as well as oil up the veggies. Okay, there we go. We got our olive oil. We got our seasonings, our rotisserie seasoning, our Leona's house seasoning, as well as my no salt Mrs. Dash seasoning. So the chicken is ready to go into a 400-degree oven, and I'm going to cook it until it's done. I'll let you know how long that takes. If your schedule's like mine, that means that we have to use every moment. And I had to run out and actually go to a track meet and then come back and finish up the rest of the dinner. So to be quite honest with you, that chicken took about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. Now, it's still in the oven, but while it's in the oven, I thought, well, I might as well use the time that I have. We're going to do a little chopping and dicing for the freezer. We're also going to grate some cheese that needs to be taken care of. So we're just going to do a little multitasking before that chicken comes out of the oven. One thing that you might want to do that may save you a lot of money and a lot of time is grating your own cheese. And it's so much more nutritious because there are certain, I think it's cornstarch that they sprinkle into your purchased cheese. And so rather than just having straight cheese, you end up with a package of cheese and something else that is keeping your cheese from sticking to each other. So I like to grate my own cheese, and then that way I will know exactly what is in the bag. So this will be grated, it will be placed into a freezer bag and placed into the freezer until I'm ready to use it. You know, when you're going to put these kind of vegetables away, this is what you're going to end up with, your own bag of frozen peppers. And that's what I do all the time. In fact, I've got a carrot in there as well that's frozen. Now, so I am going to make another bag of mixed peppers, different colors, and I can pull out whatever I want. And I'm going to put some green. I'm going to add some of the red. I've got mostly red and orange peppers, and I'm going to put in, actually I put them all in this bag and just spread them out, but I'll put in a few yellow. I think I'll divide them into two so that they'll be a little easier to manage. And then when you need them for dinner, you can just pull out what you want and toss them into whatever vessel you're cooking in. Okay, and before I seal them, you can see we've got all the different peppers in there. See how this sticks together? That's because all the air is out. And we have multiple bags. These two are the new ones. And here's the one I'm going to put back into the freezer. Our baked chicken is ready, and it looks wonderful. Our chicken, our potatoes, and our carrots. Everything's ready. I had green beans already cooked, so we're going to have those green beans that I had prepared earlier in the week. I'm going to finish those off. And on the plates, along with these delicious vegetables. Let's see, let's use the other. It took about an hour or so, about an hour to hour and a half for our chicken and vegetables to get just right. I wanted them well cooked, and the chicken well cooked. I wanted the vegetables well cooked and not mushy, because the carrots certainly are not mushy. But the potatoes smell delicious. Everything just looks great. The onions are perfect. So the good thing is that I can use these vegetables later in the week. All right. So we have 2 breasts that are left that I will put together, put them in a Snapware container, and have those ready for later in the week. But they won't look like this. They'll look like something else that we'll prepare. And something springy, something light. Now, let's see. Do I have any lemon? Yes, I do. So, I'm going to take our lemon half and just sprinkle a little lemon over everything to give it a nice fresh lift, as well as I'm going to take a little bit and put over these breasts that we've already prepared, because they're not going to be recooked again. They're just going to come back as some type of chicken dish. So the lemon will help to add flavor to that. So here's our plate, and dinner is served. As always, we need a taste. So let's see how those vegetables did. I'm starting with the carrots because it's important that carrots hold their texture. That's good. I'm going to take a little piece of chicken. And see how that tastes. If it came out nice and moist, then I know about an hour to an hour 15 minutes is perfect. The skin is crispy, and the actual chicken meat is nice, tender, and moist. That's exactly what we want for our dinner. So, you know, this plate goes to the big guy, and I'm going to take care of the other one. Oh my goodness, we have prepared a delicious pork roast, some oven roasted chicken with vegetables, absolutely delicious. And now I'm going to give you two more recipes that are simple to make and come straight out of the pantry. The first recipe is a Mediterranean tuna salad that is absolutely delicious. And you know, sometimes people like tuna salad, but what they don't like is the mayonnaise. And so what we're going to do is that we're going to make our own dressing, and we're going to change this out just a little bit because we're going to add some cannelli beans, and the tuna is just a little bit special. It's not your everyday tuna. This particular tuna is really more geared to, I guess, an Italian fare. Now let's put the dressing together. We're starting with a little bit of pesto in our bowl and also some Dijon mustard. To that, we're going to add a little lemon juice, we're going to add the parsley, and we're also going to add more olive oil. We're going to whip that up really, really good, and the mustard is going to help to hold the dressing together. And once we've done that, then we'll start to add the beans, and last we'll add the tuna because we don't want to break our tuna up. And you notice that we started with our specialty tuna and then added another can of solid white albacore tuna just to give it a little more volume. But once we put all of the tuna into the bowl, then all of the tuna is going to have that Italian flavor. My friends, this is one of those recipes that you can put together for any day, whether it's for dinner, whether it's for lunch. You can prepare it the day ahead, and the nice thing is that you'll just keep it chilled. It really looks beautiful on a luncheon table. Perhaps the girls are coming over and you would serve this, and you could have delicious crackers. You could put it in the center of a charcuterie board. How beautiful. And look at how easy it was. Everything was in your pantry. We're not finished yet, so stay tuned because we have one more salad coming. And this one is one that you will put on repeat all the time. Now, keep in mind, we made oven roasted chicken and we only ate a portion of it. So the rest of it we're going to chop and use for a delicious chicken salad. We're going to put together a very savory chicken salad. So I'm starting with 2 chicken breasts that have been chopped up and they're ready for the salad. In addition to that, I'm going to add to that some celery that's already been diced, about 3 or 4 stalks of celery, depending upon the size of your celery. I'm also putting in quite a bit of onion, maybe about half an onion that's been diced as well, finely diced, because you don't want to see them, to be honest with you. So I've got onion, I've got celery, and I'm going to add one of my favorite things that I like to put into the chicken salad, And go ahead.
Don't you tell me to come and get it?
Now, one of the things that makes this the most savory is the fact that I'm going to add chopped olives. And I love olives. My mom used to make it this way with lots of olives. Then we're going to add salt and pepper. And I don't put a lot of garlic in this because, I don't know, I just don't. But I add a little salt, pepper, and besides, our chicken is already seasoned. So let's get that pepper. We're going to start with a little bit of salt. And of course, the olives are going to add some salt as well, so you do not want to be heavy-handed. And what I don't have in here, of course, is pepper. And that's your seasoning of choice. If you're not a pepper person, then you may only put a dash of pepper. But if you like pepper, then you may want just a tad bit extra. So we've got our salt, we've got our pepper, we've got the celery, the onions, and of course the olives and chicken. Now, let's take a look at the dressing that we're going to put over our salad. I'm going to use my blender to make the dressing. So I'm going to start with 1 egg, 1 whole egg. I'm going to add in just a touch of salt, just a touch. I'm going to add in a little bit of mustard. I'll add a little bit of mustard. I'm going to add about a teaspoon. And this is really our emulsifier. And last but not least, we're going to need some olive oil. Now, you could certainly use another type of oil, but this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to add some olive oil. And I'm really not measuring, you notice. So we're going to put the top on this. And if I think I need a little bit more, it's a little out of balance, we'll play around with it and add some more. Now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking I need a little more olive oil. And it's going to have to beat a little while longer. And you could certainly use a hand blender to bring this together, but it's going to take a few minutes to get it all right. So we are basically putting together our own homemade aioli. Let's bring it over here. We should have enough. Have a little mustard on here, but that's okay. I'm going to clean that off. And then we're going to pour in our dressing. I'm not going to use all of it just in case. It tastes good. Nope, got a little on me. You always want to start by underdressing your salad. And that means that you're leaving a little bit so that you can always add more. Now, I'm going to get a spatula and we're going to put the rest of that dressing in. Okay. And then we can finish the mix. Now I'm going to take some of this out because I'm going to add a little something, something. You know, I always have to kick it up a notch. But I'm not going to kick up the big guys. I'm just going to kick up mine. And we're going to do a little additional something. And this is going to have time to sit for at least a couple hours so that the flavors can go through it. And so our salad is all together. That's a good thing. Now I'm going to take out some for me and some for the big guy. I think I'll take the big guys out. We'll do it half and half. Okay, I think that's enough for the big guy. And I'm going to leave mine in. And let's add some extras. All right, I have some grapes that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to take these grapes and just cut them in half. And I purposely chose red grapes because they're so colorful. So I'm going to toss those grapes in. Try to find those that are sweet. You're going to do this. And some of these are a little rough, but I'm going to use ones I have. We're not going to the grocery. Okay, so we've got grapes in. That's one of our kicked up versions. We've added grapes. We're also going to add in some nuts. And I'm going to add pecans because it happens to be what I like. And so I'm just going to sprinkle in some pecans. I had about a half cup. I'm going to see what that looks like once I get it all stirred up. See if we need more or less. You know, this is a good place that if you have cranberries or you have cherries, some dried cranberries or dried cherries, you could certainly add that in as well. And if you're going to do that, then you might want to use green. You might want to use green grapes instead of red grapes. But I'm using red. I do have some cherries, and I think I'll add those too. Some nice cherries, just a few. Didn't have the green grapes though, so we're going to add a few cherries, just a little handful, just in to add a little texture. We're kicking this up, and I'm kicking it up because it's how I like it. And you know, I told you that when you're cooking, that we want to be creative. We want to add that little something extra. And this would be a beautiful salad to be able to put on a table and have with some delicious bread or with some crackers. Oh my goodness. Now, we need to give it a taste. Oh yeah, just all tuna, just peppery enough. And actually, I've got enough room to be able to add the rest of these pecans so that I'm not wasting them. So I'll give all of that. Now we have finished 2 variations on a chicken salad. I have the kicked up version that has grapes and cherries and pecans. And then I have the more savory chicken salad that is absolutely delicious on a sandwich or just with some crackers. This is the big guys, and this is mine. I love having you here in the kitchen of Ebony Ivy and Thyme, and I hope you enjoy being here. So come back, because we're always solving some type of kitchen question.